So we're gonna do a posterior splint, which is typically used for swelling if a patient has a fracture or anything like that, when you can't apply a cast. So typically I like to go ahead and put on my stockinette because it just kind of makes everything easier. And some patients are very sensitive to this cast padding. It becomes very itchy towards their skin. So you can do a stockinette first. Of course, we would not have that patient sock on, but for the video purposes and it's not being a real patient, it's totally fine. Leave it out. Then you're gonna do your cast padding. Reason for the cast padding is to provide the little fluff in between this and that splint. Make sure you do a figure 8 in everything that you do. And you can go around a few times on the lower foot of itself. In this case, she fractured something, but we're just gonna try to put it in some type of angle to support it, right? Whatever she decides she fractured. When you go up, 50% coverage on your cast padding. And you're gonna see why I like to do that stockinette, because it kind of makes everything look so much nicer. Most of the times when they do a posterior splint like the ER, they make them too short. We don't want them short, we want them to come out so they don't stub their feet. Wherever you finish, you're gonna start back up. It's easier when you have an MA that's able to help you while you're doing this, but we all know that the entire world is short-staffed and they don't appreciate us, so we gotta work by ourselves. You go around, you make it look pretty, you make it look pretty, you make it look pretty. For the purposes of this video, I'm only gonna use 2, but I typically use 3 cast paddings. But we don't wanna waste material because we don't want the DME gods to come attack us. And then this right here, you're gonna fold it up and it gives it that nice little cushion around their foot. You can bring this down because she fractured her foot, not her leg, so it doesn't need to be all the way up, right? And then you're gonna measure your posterior splint. This is the posterior splint that we use. We have smaller sizes for kids if you ever do that kid in here. You can do 2 things. You can either cut it so you don't have too much. So go ahead and lift up for me real quick. So I'll go like this, I'll fold this little portion. You can always choose to cut this, because you don't need to have so much mess around here. Cut to size, and you'll see inside here, it's got casting material. So just like you would apply a cast, you gotta wet this. Wet it enough that it's gonna harden, but don't squeeze it too much that it's gonna get rid of all of your casting material. Because it'll activate it, you don't need a lot of water to activate this mold. Then since I know I cut this part, I'm gonna use this part towards the top and I'm gonna fold this back. And then let it mold right there. And then depending how much space she has for her toes is where I will adjust this fold down here on the bottom. All right, so you have the patient pick up, bring it just right there where that she has some support from that cast padding. And then here, I would fold the rest. Enough to protect the toes. Then you have ace bandage. And you can start right on the bottom. Sorry for wetting your socks. It's easier for me to start at the bottom. You'll find the way of doing things, right? Start at the bottom, gather your folds. Go around, and just like that, you're gonna mold everything. And make sure that you don't get a fold on this. Make sure it's nice and cuffed up. Because eventually it's gonna mold hard to the patient's foot. Go around. That's an awkward place for that, so I'll put it up here. And then you can do the same thing around here. And if you like, you can always do another ace bandage, and I'm gonna tell you why. Not all of them always come out to be the same, right? Because every leg's different. You can always do another ace bandage. This is one we previously opened on the same patient. Mold it. Because I'm OCD. And this little heel part's gonna bother me. So I'm gonna go around, give her that extra compression, and give her possibilities if she does wanna remove this, that she has that extra ace bandage to go around. And that's it. If once you give it a little bit, it'll start molding to the patient's arch, foot, and provides the stability that they need until they can get that cast applied or go into surgery. Any questions? Easy peasy.